At 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
The Texas Attorney General and Bexar County District Attorney will square off in court here in San Antonio in less than 12 hours. Ken Paxton's office has asked a judge to block a nearly $400,000 targeted voter registration program approved by the county earlier this month. DA Joe Gonzalez, meanwhile, says it's yet another attempt at voter intimidation by a Texas Republican. The Night Team's Dylan Collier breaks down both sides of this now political fight.
Okay, good morning.
Bexar County commissioners voted 3-1 to award a $393,000 contract to Civic Government Solutions, or CGS. The September 3rd measure has been marked by controversy. Opponents of the program, which mails pre-filled voter registration forms to unregistered voters, say the company has connections to progressive entities.
Given that CGS is not subject to the same transparency and oversight requirements as nonprofits engage in similar activities as an LLC, there are virtually no checks and balances here in their voter registration process.
Attorney General Ken Paxton, who threatened to sue Bexar County if it approved the contract, did just that hours after the vote, seeking an emergency injunction to prevent the effort from moving forward, claiming that it potentially invites election fraud.
What the judge has
District Attorney Joe Gonzalez and staff braced for Paxton himself to appear in person for a hearing September 6th.
No one in Commissioner's Court is encouraging anybody to vote one way or another.
Neither Paxton or his staff showed up. The motion for hearing was instead filed after hours and scheduled to go before a judge at 9 a.m. Monday.
The citizens of Bexar County will not be intimidated. We believe in the healthy exercise of democracy.
Paxton's office did not respond to an email from KSAT seeking comment tonight. It is unclear if Paxton himself will appear in court tomorrow. A decision either way will need to be made in the next few weeks, as the deadline in Texas to vote in the November election is October 7th. One other note, Bexar County has a presiding court system, meaning the case will be called tomorrow and then farmed out to another judge, a process that can sometimes delay the start of a hearing several hours. Dylan Collier, KSAT 12 News.
Thanks, Dylan. Well, a 7-year-old girl is in the hospital tonight after she was found in the crossfire of a shooting inside a West Side home. It happened early this morning on Bratton Drive near Marbach. Police say the home was hosting a boxing watch party. Eventually, a man and a woman got into a domestic altercation, and the man hosting the party tried to intervene. The host told that man to leave, and he refused. That's when the host got his gun and shot at the man. It grazed the man, but also hit a girl, the host's daughter. It's unclear if the girl's dad will face any charges, and at last check, that girl was in critical condition. We are learning more about what the FBI is calling an attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. The Secret Service says shots were fired in his vicinity at his golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida this afternoon. Trump was golfing at the time and said he heard popping sounds. This is the second assassination attempt of the former president. In July, he was shot at a rally in Pennsylvania where a retired firefighter was killed and 2 others were injured. ABC's Allison Kosik joins us from New York with the latest.
For the second time in 2 months, an attempted assassination of former President Trump. Law enforcement says a suspect in custody. That suspect identified as Ryan Wesley Routh. Sources say a man with an assault-style rifle was between 300 to 500 yards from the former president and appeared to be aiming a gun near him.
They have an agent that jumps one hole ahead of time to where the president was at. And he was able to spot this rifle barrel sticking out of the fence and immediately engage that individual, at which time the individual took off.
Authorities say they found an AK-47 style rifle in the bushes with a scope, 2 backpacks, and a GoPro. He was later apprehended in a neighboring county.
The threat level is high. We have increased the amount of assets that we've supported, so we live in danger times.
The former president issuing a statement saying, "My resolve is only stronger after another attempt on my life. I will never slow down. I will never give up." Later in the evening, President Biden issuing a statement stating there is no place for political violence or for any violence ever in our country. The former president is said to be in good spirits. Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
Well, San Antonio police responded to 2 deadly domestic situations tonight. We will start in the north side, where a man and woman are dead in what police have called a murder-suicide. SAPD was called for a welfare check this morning at an apartment complex on Jones-Motzberger Road near Sonterra. When they got there, they tried for hours to talk with the man, and after a few hours, they entered the apartment to find the man and woman dead. Police say the man killed the woman before taking his own life. Officials have not determined their relationship yet, and we are still working to find out their names and ages. Then several hours earlier in the southwest side of town, another man died after a standoff with police at an apartment complex near Kelly Field. Police said they got a call around 3 this morning and found a domestic violence situation, a man holding a woman against her will with a gun. That woman thankfully able to safely get out of the building. After that, the man later came out with that gun and took his life in front of police. SAPD says the woman was treated for minor injuries. And we want to remind you, if you or anyone you know is suffering through domestic violence, there is so much help for you. We've created an entire webpage dedicated to those resources. Scan the QR code on your screen. It'll take you directly to ksat.com/domestic violence. A U.S. appeals court will hear oral arguments about a law that would ban TikTok in the United States. Congress passed a plan in April that President Biden signed into law, which would ban TikTok here in the U.S. in January unless the social media company's ownership changes. China-based ByteDance is the current owner, and they're challenging this law, saying it violates free speech rights. ByteDance added even if it wanted to give up ownership of TikTok, it couldn't be done by the deadline Congress has set. Well, Congress desperately trying to get work done as the presidential race heats up. John Lawrence reports in vitro fertilization is something members in both parties are trying to protect by law.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says a second vote on an in vitro fertilization bill is coming soon.
Republicans can't claim to be pro-family, only to block protections for IVF. The American people deserve another chance to see if Republicans are for access to IVF or against it. It's that simple.
In June, the legislation, which guaranteed access to the treatment, stalled by a vote of 48 to 47, with 2 GOP senators, Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, voting alongside their Democratic colleagues. This comes as multiple House Republicans told CNN they are pushing for Speaker Mike Johnson to hold a legislative vote backing IVF ahead of the 2024 election. Speaking of the 2024 election, early voting began last week in Alabama. Several other states begin early voting this weekend, and IVF is among the issues both sides are addressing on the campaign trail. As for former President Donald Trump,
he supports IVF. He supports fertility treatments. He supports all, as he supports exceptions for life and health, mother for rape and incest. So his position is the moderate position on this one. And yet I know that conservatives still support him.
Vice President Kamala Harris previously said, quote, extremists led by the former president are threatening access to IVF and contraception. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Okay, back here at home, switching gears and heading outside with live cam. Mostly clear skies in place tonight. Temperature still in the muggy mid-80s. Hopefully you all had a wonderful weekend and managed to stay cool out there. It was hotter than average both yesterday and into today. And as high pressure works back into this last full official week of the summer season, those warmer than average temperatures do look to continue. And that all starts with your Monday. 75 degrees, a warm and muggy start by 7 a.m. tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine into the early afternoon, helping high temperatures once again climb into that mid and upper 90-degree range, right around 97. That's our forecast high here in San Antonio. The vast majority of us staying dry, just a 10% chance of a stray shower by late afternoon and into the evening. Again, that high pressure system, that's going to be the name of the game this week. So hotter than average temperatures continue, mid-90s each and every afternoon. The humidity sticks around as well, which means feels like temperatures upwards of 100 degrees will be possible. And in terms of rain chances, pretty dry. Little to none this week in San Antonio. A full look at that forecast coming up in just a few.
Thank you, Mia. Well, it's an inside look at how inspectors come up with restaurant scores. Metro Health inspectors visit dozens of restaurants every week. Well, they invited us along as they checked out Papuli's on Huebner. They looked at the food and cleaning supplies. While the process can be uncomfortable, owner Nick Anthony says the results are important.
When the health inspector comes in, we follow them because we want to learn from them as they go through. We're not perfect. No restaurant's perfect.
Tonight, we're literally taking you behind the kitchen door. The score Papuli's earned coming up in about 20 minutes. Plus, it's a sport designed for people with disabilities, and some San Antonio athletes got to try it out. What power soccer is and why it means so much for our community.
I'm Patty Santos, and tomorrow on GMSA, we are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. We're going to take you to the far west side to introduce you to the restaurant and the restaurant owner that's making these delicious plates, including the famous Salvadorian pupusa.
It's a fast-moving, impressive sport, and 28 San Antonio athletes with disabilities got a special power soccer clinic from a Team USA member. Devin Karp was at their practice this morning. Players telling him the unique and accessible sport is so important for this community.
So many times you see people in wheelchairs, you think they can't do certain things, but then you see us out on this court and you see all the different amazing things that we can do.
These athletes are playing a match of soccer with a twist, and whether they've been playing this game for decades.
I started when I was 5 years old, so it's definitely changed a ton.
Or learning for their first time.
No, this is the first time I can actually play the sports normally and feel like I can actually play good.
Organizers behind a clinic for power soccer say this is one of the most important sports for accessibility.
And it is 4v4. And you have metal guards on the power chairs, and that's how you kick the ball, pass the ball, take the shots on goal.
The Strapped Scorpions, San Antonio's power soccer team, brought in Team USA player Lexi Hare to help teach these players new techniques, build on their skills, and find new lessons in the game.
I think first part is for them to have fun and just being able just to see the different abilities that they can do. And so many times knowing every little intricate part of your chair.
It's all under Morgan Sports STRAPS program. That stands for South Texas Regional Adaptive and Paralympic Sports, giving people with disabilities a way to stay competitive.
Two of my brothers, they play competitive sports, so I always have to watch them and never could play. But yeah, it's really fun to be able to actually play sports and enjoy them as much as I want to.
All while giving them the resources to achieve their dream.
I really want to up my level of play and grow as a player and an athlete, just because my aspiration is to be on Team USA one day.
At the end of the day, this team says they feel like a family and want to make sure that anyone, regardless of their disabilities, knows they can come out and give it a shot.
You know, new skills, of course, but most importantly, new friendships, right? Relationships.
I'm Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.
So impressive right there. This as well, 20 military veterans have come back to Military City, USA after the ride of a lifetime. This group of veterans was part of the 19th Honor Ride out of San Antonio. It's part of a nonprofit effort that sends vets to Washington, D.C. to visit the memorials dedicated to their service. 4 branches of the military were included in this trip, and the 20 vets combined for more than 180 years of dedication to our freedom and safety. 180 years, Mia, that's incredible.
It's amazing. And of course, thanks to all of them for their years of service. All right, switching gears now, Courtney.
I don't want to talk about this.
Last weekend was so nice because we were talking about low humidity. We were talking about cooler than average mornings. This week, it is a totally different story.
Let's go back to talk about the veterans. Let's not talk about the heat.
Let's not talk about the heat. Let's avoid talking about the heat, considering that it is mid-September, still feeling like August. It is the last full week of the summer season. By the way, the autumn equinox, 7 days away, next Sunday, but you wouldn't know it taking a look at these high temperatures. 97, the forecast high tomorrow. We reached 95 earlier this afternoon. And then after that, yes, we'll see a little bit more cloud cover work in by the middle to later portions of the week, but still high temperatures in the mid-90s are expected. For context, our average high for this time of year is 90 degrees, so we will still be several degrees above that each and every afternoon. We've got a stalled boundary off to our northeast right now that helps spark a few storms across parts of the Brazos Valley, well northeast of our area. A lot of that fizzled out before it was able to make its way to south central Texas. Now our attention is on this big blue H, that high pressure system over Mexico. That's what's going to be moving in from the west over the next several days, moving over the state of Texas this week, allowing those temperatures to warm. So here's what your Monday looks like in detail. KSAT 12-hour forecast. Expect more of the same, very similar to what we saw today, except maybe a little bit more sunshine throughout the morning hour. 75 degrees to kickstart the day around 7 a.m. So it will be a warm and humid start. Already pushing 90 for any lunchtime plans that you may have around noon. We've got a forecast high pointed right around 97, 7 degrees above the average. And notice your feels like temperatures. The humidity is with us and it is not going anywhere over the next week or so. So feels like temperatures will likely approach, if not climb into the low triple digits for a few hours in the afternoons each and every day in many locations. Here's what your actual air temperatures look like tomorrow. 97 out east in Gonzales, 96 off to our south for places like Poteet and Pleasanton, 96 as well in Rio Medina, 93 in Tarpley, and 95 over in Comfort. Again, feeling just a few degrees hotter than that. Very summer-like pattern that we will find ourselves in over the next several days. I mentioned those storms that we were monitoring well off to our north. Bryan College Station saw some rain earlier today. Few storms trying to work their way closer to the Round Rock area, but they are fizzling out. We are very quiet here in San Antonio, and we will stay that way through the overnight hours and much of this week. Again, that's all thanks to a stalled boundary draped across East Texas. Mostly clear skies expected for the most part through the overnight hours tonight. Plenty of sunshine expected throughout the first half of the day tomorrow. We will keep a 10% chance in the forecast for a stray shower before the day is done, but more of us than not will miss out tomorrow, and that will be the case for much of this week. Just a 10% chance expected Friday and into Saturday, bumping that up slightly to a 20% potential as we look ahead to next Sunday. And we definitely will take any rain that we can get. Wish we had better chances this week because we still have some work to do when it comes to the drought department. We did see some improvements though, if you missed it, with the latest update that was released last Thursday. Bexar County has now been removed, large in part from that moderate drought, and we actually had extreme drought that was also erased across portions of the hill country thanks to some needed rain that we saw earlier this month. Still though, we are below average now. 1.46 is how much we've seen in San Antonio so far this September. That's about half of an inch below where we should be. 21.3 so far is what we've seen since January 1st, about an inch and a half below where we should be year to date. So hopefully looking ahead to the back half of September, even into October, we'll start to see better pattern change leading us to better rain chances. You may be wondering, okay, so fall officially starts on Sunday. Is there any hope for relief when it comes to cooler temperatures? Sorry to say, as of the latest temperature outlook for the back half of the month, it still is painting the picture that we will see warmer than average temperatures, Courtney. So we may have to wait until October before we really start to see a little bit more of that fall-like feel return.
I will not get my sweaters out. I will not get my sweaters out. I will not get my sweaters out.
Not yet. But
I did it
hey,
last year.
Last week was nice. Fall's fall, but this second summer looks to hang around for a little bit longer.
Okay, we shall be patient. Thank you. A preview of Instant Replay right up after this. The Texas Longhorns are the new #1 team in college football, and the Dallas Cowboys got roughed up at home today by the New Orleans Saints. For a preview of instant replay, let's check in with Larry. I'm excited about one of those things.
I know which one you're excited about.
Do you? How do you know?
It's just obvious, right? I'll tell you what, in 2 games, though, in the NFL, the Saints, they have 91 points so far this season. That's unbelievable. Now, the Saints ended the Cowboys' 16-game home winning streak in the regular season, coming up tonight on Instant Replay. The New Orleans Saints scored time and time again, 6 straight drives, 6 straight touchdowns against the Dallas Cowboys defense today. We'll show you how it all went down in Arlington.
They won the game pretty much on defense last week, so definitely a great defense. Got a lot of respect for those guys, and can't wait to compete against them.
Out in H-Town, the Texans and C.J. Stroud played Sunday Night Football hosting the Chicago Bears, a battle of 1-0 teams. Who comes out on top? We'll have the highlights and post-game reaction.
And Ewers now in a tremendous amount of discomfort.
The Texas Longhorns put on a show against UTSA, but the Horns lost quarterback Quinn Ewers early in this one, and that leads us to this, your instant replay poll question for tonight. Can Texas win a national championship without quarterback Quinn Ewers? He's week to week with an oblique injury. Arch Manning looked pretty good, though, but how will the Longhorns do when the SEC schedule opens up? Vote right now. Use the QR code on the screen and let us know what you think. We'll have the results during instant replay. We'll also have some of the best plays from around the NFL today, the best of big game coverage, and our Lady of the Lake softball national champs got some awesome hardware late this afternoon. IR starts at the top of the hour.
I love their reactions to that.
Right.
Stick around for that. It's
pretty awesome.
All right. Thanks, Larry. Still ahead on the Nightbeat, though, KSAT was invited to a health inspection with Metro Health. A different kind of behind the kitchen door next on the Nightbeat. 1 in 6 Americans will get food poisoning this year. Every week, Metro Health visits dozens of restaurants to make sure they're keeping food safe. In honor of National Food Safety Education Month, they invited our Daniela Ibarra and photojournalist Luis Cienfuegos along as we head behind the kitchen door for an inspection.
We're taking you behind the kitchen door at Papuli's off Heidner, and right now I'm joined by Metro Health Inspector Rosa Barkar. She's actually going to show us how inspections are done. So let's head inside and show me how it's done.
Hi, I'm your health inspector. I'm just here to do my routine inspection. If we need to fix anything in the kitchen, I'll let you know.
After a quick hand wash,
water's nice and hot, so that's a good sign. Is that date correct? Is it accurate? So at the end of today, this will be discarded? Yes. Okay.
Rose gets to work.
And then once you open a bag like this, right?
Yeah, that needs to be
we need to
stored
put in a airtight container.
She points out any infraction to the restaurant's owner, Nick Anthony.
So any food preparation, whether or not we're just cutting, right, we do need some sort of hair restraint, whether that's a hat or a hairnet. So we do need to get that one for her.
Can I see hairnet?
Temperature is perfect. It's at 32 degrees. It's well above 41. What time do you guys usually start cooking these meats? Now? Okay. You guys have your thermometers for this section for all the hot foods. Perfect, thank you. Your dates look perfect. Nothing over 7 days, so that's great. Everything has their own name, so thank you for doing that. Might want to go ahead and turn up the heat on this one. Okay,
will do.
She's not just worried about the food.
How long do you leave it in?
So you usually immerse it in that one section for about 10 seconds. Anything that's above 400, that means there's too much sanitizer. It's too concentrated, right? So we want to add a little bit of water to that. These actually do have expiration dates on them. So this actually expired September 1st of 2020. So we're a little behind on that, right?
Oh my gosh,
so do we
I didn't know that.
Okay. And we just want to get some sort of cleaning done down there towards the end of the day. All of our chemical bottles, they're all labeled, so that's good. Thank you.
And if you're curious, Papuli's earned a 91 on its inspection. For Behind the Kitchen Door, I'm Daniela Ibarra.
Interesting to see how that's done. Anthony says he has replaced a refrigerator part and is working to bring that score back up to 100. I love when we get those behind the scenes.
It's so fascinating, especially considering, you see the behind the kitchen door all the time.
Right.
And just to get that behind the scenes
Yes, there we go.
into what all goes into those ratings, it is pretty fascinating. All right, again, mostly clear skies, still a warm and muggy night here in San Antonio and across South Central Texas. Take a look at highs today. It follows a hotter than average afternoon. 95 was our high temperature here in San Antonio. It was 93 in New Braunfels, 92 in Kerrville. Well, on the Rio Grande, though, where we had some added cloud cover, mid to upper 80s was a common theme. Now, right now, we are gradually starting to see those temperatures fall, but you can see along and west of I-35, especially up into the hill country, those temperatures have already managed to fall into the 70s in a few locations. But yes, we are expecting hotter than average daytime highs to continue through the upcoming work week. And there also is some activity to talk about in the tropics. Not going to impact us, but we'll tell you who could see some impacts over the next couple of days coming up in just a few.
Thank you, Mia. Well, it was a historic night for the 76th Primetime Emmy Awards. The most nominated shows included Shogun and The Bear. ABC's Jacqueline Lee is on the red carpet in Los Angeles.
A huge night in Hollywood for the 76th Primetime Emmy Awards, hosted by father-son duo Dan and Eugene Levy.
My most rewarding dad role ever has been being your dad. In Schitt's Creek.
FX's Shogun leading the pack for drama with a whopping 25 nominations.
When you guys were filming this and you were watching it all unfold in real life, I mean, did you just feel like this is going to be a winner? This is going to be as successful as it was?
No, I don't think your head is really there. I think there is that moment in which you feel that specialness of what you intended to do, meeting up with everybody else's intentions and passions and all these things, and it becomes this bigger thing, and then it's performed, and it transcends everything.
The Bear right behind at 23 nominations, the most nominations for a comedy series in 1 year. Jeremy Allen White of The Bear winning Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series.
Thank you so much. My heart is just beating right out of its chest.
Prior to winning Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series, we spoke to Liza Colon-Zayas of The Bear.
What is it about The Bear that you think resonates with so many viewers?
I think that people feel seen in all of their struggles, even if they're very successful. It doesn't mean that you are healed. It doesn't, the perfectionism just shows up in different destructive ways, but how we all need community, made family, real family, to hold each other up when people need them.
Other top nominees include Only Murders in the Building, True Detective Night Country, and The Crown. The hit ABC sitcom Abbott Elementary breaking its own record with 9 nominations. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Still ahead, a story of art and transformation. We follow a young artist at Haven for Hope who turns personal struggles into artwork. His journey of hope and healing next on the Nightbeat. It is a story born out of curiosity. Photojournalist Adam Barraza and I were at Haven for Hope weeks ago during a story on their new youth program. While we were there, we noticed some beautiful artwork all around the common room and found out the artist was one of the young clients. So we went back there where 23-year-old Suman Bynes-Karki brought some blank canvases and taught me how to paint. His quiet demeanor blossomed while he opened up about his difficulties and how his art gets him through it. Okay, so just show me what we would do.
Okay, so for the cloud scenery, I think it would be good to give, I want to start off by giving you the right kind of brushes.
Okay, how did you learn how to do this?
Well, I started when I was relatively young. It's been a real way of just helping me out.
Yeah, like mental health and calming.
Definitely. I generally start off with an outline.
So I'm gonna mix this together?
Yeah.
I know you've moved around a little bit.
Before I was at Haven, I was living with my mother and father.
Okay, and so what led you to come here?
There was a little bit of a disagreement with regard to my independence as an adult.
And so you just wanted something more stable for yourself?
Yeah, I needed to be in a position where I could provide for myself as an adult. When I made it to the youth program, I was really particularly happy.
They're helping with housing. Is that one of your goals?
That was a major goal of mine.
So is this the horizon?
Yes.
Okay.
So the horizon is going to be the bottom of the
Okay.
page. For the next step, I think it would be beneficial. So that actually looks amazing.
Oh my God, really?
Yes.
Thank you.
I would add little, like, I guess you can say almost dots.
Okay. Getting at Haven, are there certain programs that you're feeling connected to as well?
Yes, I'm really enjoying the therapy appointment that I'm having right at this point.
Are they getting you ready for careers?
I'm very excited. Ready to Work has helped me in a lot of ways.
Okay.
It's basically covering my entire 2-year education. So one thing I would like to do for the background is just a bright yellow.
Okay.
And we're just going to paint around the clouds.
Okay. I went rogue on a color. Is that good?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Being homeless or experiencing homelessness, what kind of emotions used to come up with that?
I would say sorrow, a lot of sorrow. I would say a lot of sorrow because in the beginning when I was first here, I felt like I was in a position where I was, like the world itself was against me.
Where did you find that attitude switch? What do you think happened where you went from sorrow to this is fate?
That happened like instantaneously.
Really?
It was like,
Wow.
one thing I gathered from the Bible essentially was that a bad thing does not have to be a bad thing if you do the right thing, essentially.
So this is a self-portrait.
Yes.
You can tell. That means you did a good job because we knew it was you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So self-portraits are really interesting. Sometimes people kind of avoid that, kind of looking inward. What did it feel like painting yourself, especially in the situation you're in?
I was surprised because it looked really, like I was really happy.
So if I'm getting green on this, I should wipe it off and get more white, right?
Most likely, yeah. All right.
Okay.
Yours came out amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I think it was really good.
I'm so impressed. Wow. Thank you so much for this. This has just been getting to hear your story, but also learning this. This is something I'm going to take away. So thank you.
Ma'am.
Wow. Yeah, it was a really this is probably one of my favorite shoots we've ever done. No, it was less reportery, as we would say. It's just a conversation, and where it led, I mean.
Incredible. How inspirational, too. And I know a lot of people tend to use painting and things like that as just a really good therapy. It's very therapeutic, and it's just another way for you to express yourself and what you're feeling, the journey that you've gone through. How long did it take you to paint that?
I feel like, so the whole conversation you can find on KSAT.com on the story. I feel like it was we spent about 25 minutes maybe.
I also learned that Courtney was a part-time artist too. That was a pretty impressive painting.
He was very kind. Sumal made me feel very good about myself.
That's
but we're going to follow his journey. It was so calming, wonderful. I'm hoping that he'll begin teaching more. It's a goal of his. He's just a really incredible person, wise beyond his years, past 23.
And how great to share his story too.
Well, we'll be right back. So it's still that time of year. We need to check in with the tropics. So something else is popping up.
Something else to monitor. It's not going to be for us here in South Central Texas. We're not expecting any impacts, more so for folks along the East Coast. Take a look at the latest update that just came in from the National Hurricane Center. Potential tropical cyclone 8. This is likely to become Tropical Storm Helene very shortly. This is just off the coast of the Carolinas, already providing some rain out that way as well. You can see winds are sustained at about 45 miles per hour. So basically, this isn't a tropical storm yet because the National Hurricane Center says that it hasn't developed that well-defined center of circulation just yet to become that tropical storm status, but it is expected to here pretty shortly. This is the latest forecast track. It's going to be moving farther up to the northwest over the next 24 hours, likely making landfall along the coast of South Carolina as a tropical storm tomorrow, and then it will work its way way closer to the Charlotte area, weakening as it does so, but still sparking some heavy rain as well as some gusty winds and potentially even some storm surge along the coast of the Carolinas. You can see tropical storm warnings in place from Charleston stretching all the way up to the Outer Banks tonight. Storm surge of 1 to 3 feet will be possible, and of course some heavy rain. Take a look at what rainfall accumulations could look like over the next 3 days. Near Wilmington, about 5 inches, certainly possible. Near Raleigh, 2 inches of rain, Roanoke 2 as well. Myrtle Beach about 4 as this continues to work inland. Again, Tropical Storm Helene is what it is expected to become. After that, the next few names on the list, Isaac, Joyce, Kirk, followed by Leslie. So we'll continue to keep you posted on that. Again, no impacts for us here in the Gulf Coast. As we take a look out in the central Atlantic, though, this is another disturbance that actually formed late last week. Tropical Depression Gordon. It was a tropical storm, but it has since weakened. It is just going to hang out over the central Atlantic. This does not pose any threats or impacts to the lower 48. Back here at home, the name of the game this week, high pressure and warmer than average temperatures. 75 degrees to kickstart our Monday, 7 a.m. Plenty of sunshine throughout the first half of the day. Already expected to reach the low 90s by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I think it's possible that we see a few passing clouds develop later on in the afternoon with just that 10% chance for a stray shower generally in between 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. 97 degrees, the forecast high temperature, feeling like the low triple digits though because of the humidity in place. So definitely be careful out there in this summer-like heat. By the way, winds will be pretty variable out there, but sustained at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. 94 the forecast high temperature tomorrow in Carrizo Springs. Same up the road in Kerrville, 94 as well out west in Del Rio, 97 in New Braunfels. For the most part, mid-90s will continue each and every day. And with the moisture, just get ready for those hotter heat index values again, feeling like 100 in many locations in the afternoon. So I know that it is mid-September, but just make sure that we're staying hydrated if you are planning on being outside, because given the fact that it almost is the start of fall, you may be kind of thinking it'll sneak up on you. That heat tends to do so this time of year when it's this hot.
If I don't have anything positive to say, I won't say anything at all.
That's a good way. Good job, Courtney.
Don't want to depress everyone at 11 p.m. All right, thank you. How did Beetlejuice do in its second weekend in theaters? Find out where it stacked up against the competition in our box office countdown next.
There's a purpose for your life.
The Reagan biopic stepped back 2 spots this weekend to 5th place on ticket sales of $2.8 million.
Let's be clear what's happening in this country. It's Nazism.
The satire, Am I Racist?, debuted in 4th place with $4.8 million, while Deadpool and Wolverine continued its slide from box office dominance down to 3rd with $5.2 million.
No! Patty!
The psychological thriller Speak No Evil bowed in 2nd place with $11.5 million.
If you say his name 3 times, he will appear.
Beetlejuice easily held on to the top of the box office in its sophomore weekend in theaters. Tim Burton's sequel to his 1988 hit racked up $51.7 million, bringing its North American box office total to $188 million. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Well, the Houston Texans got to play under the bright lights of Sunday Night Football, and Spurs big man Victor Wembanyama surprised some fans at a local card shop. For more on What's on Instant Replay, here's Larry Ramirez. I love when he does that. People just freak out.
And I don't know who was more excited there, the adults or the kids. It was pretty awesome. Fans of Boomtown Sports Cards and Collectibles knew a pro athlete was showing up. They just didn't know who. Coming up tonight on Instant Replay. Fans at Boomtown were blown away when Wemby walked in to hang out with them. He was there to take part in Topps Hobby Rip Night, which went down at 560 plus hobby shops all around the world. Wemby traded cards with the kids, and he gave Boomtown employees a night they'll never forget. That is fantastic. Back in May, Our Lady of the Lake softball team won the NAIA Softball World Series, beating Jessup University 2-0 in the final. Today, Olu celebrated at the school with the presentation of their championship rings. The Dallas Cowboys got roughed up at home. The Texas Longhorns are now #1. And we have the best of BGC, which features the best catch of the season so far. That and more tonight at Instant Replay, coming up right after the Nightbeat.
I'm loving it.
I know you are.
I'm loving it a lot. All right, thanks,
As you should.
It's like, we'll keep it as we can.
Yes.
All right. We'll be right back. And before we say goodbye, we wanted to remind you this year's Head for the Cure 5K is right around the corner. It'll be on September 28th at Providence Catholic School. That's in less than 2 weeks. So you should register right now. Scan the QR code on your screen. It'll take you directly to the website so you can register. And proceeds for Head for the Cure go to brain cancer research. For more information, just visit ksatcommunity.com. And thanks so much for being with us tonight and sticking with us after the award show. Stick with us now because an all-new Instant